Hey guys, welcome back to At the Table. Sydney here, and today I thought we would talk all about air fryers and make a couple air fryer recipes. So I've been busy doing a lot of classes. Really, April and May have just been filled with a lot of workshops here at the Extension office. If you're not on our mailing list or if you aren't following us on Facebook, we post a lot of those things there. So that's a great place to find out about what kind of workshops we're doing. But I just finished an air fryer class last week, and it's like, this would be great for the show for us to do. So an air fryer is a really great tool. I use mine pretty much every single night. Something is gonna go in the air fryer, whether it's my vegetables or my meat. One of those is going in the air fryer to help speed dinner along. I'm here cooking for most days in my job. So whenever I get home, I don't wanna spend a lot of time cooking at home. So this is a really great tool to help speed dinner along, get food on the table. You can make very healthy, delicious meals in the air fryer, and they're just great. So I'll talk a little bit about the different kinds of air fryers. If you don't have one, maybe you're in the market for one. I'll talk about that a little bit in the show today, but we'll also be making a good recipe. So we'll go ahead and get started on that just so I can get us moving along and get us started chopping. And I'll talk about some of that as we go. So the first thing we're gonna be making is air fryer roasted cauliflower tacos. It sounds kind of boring. You're like, Sydney, I would not just wanna eat cauliflower tacos for dinner. And that's okay. You could probably add chicken to this and it would be delicious. In my class, we did pork chops, and then we did these tacos, and then we made a dessert. So some people cut up their pork chop and put it in with their taco, and it was very good. But I think that the tacos taste so good just by themselves. We are gonna be using a Peruvian green sauce that goes with this recipe, and you put that on top of the tacos, and it really elevates the tacos, takes it to a whole nother level. So first thing is just chopping up our cauliflower, which of course takes a little bit of time. One thing that you could do, and this is why I love the air fryer, you could buy frozen. So I buy a lot of frozen vegetables. I have 2 kiddos at home that I'm trying to get healthy stuff into them as well. So I typically, will of course have some vegetables with dinner. And if I just haven't had time to go to the store, I don't have time to sit here and cut up a whole bunch of cauliflower or broccoli or whatever it may be, then I'll just buy the frozen, and you can use that just as easily as fresh. So that is one tip for you. Now an air fryer is basically like a convection oven. It is gonna use air to circulate and heat up the food. So on an air fryer, there are 2 vents. You will have the vent that brings air in. Most of them, it is located on the top of the air fryer. So you never wanna try to cover the top of your air fryer because you're gonna prevent air going in and really cooking your food. The other is on the back. So a lot of times you'll see a little vent on the back of your air fryer. If you put your hand out while it's on, you can get burned, so be careful for that. But the air is flowing back out. So it goes in, heats up the food, pushes back out. And that is basically how an air fryer functions. There are all different types of air fryers out there now. There are some that are an Instant Pot and an air fryer. There are even ovens now that have an air fryer function as well. So lots of different options if you are in the market for an air fryer. I definitely would encourage buying one that is a multi-function, simply because who wants to have multiple appliances, right? Helps to keep things simple, helps you to have less things to store. We got a grill and air fryer as part of our wedding gift. So that was something that I had on my registry for my wedding. And like I said, we use it all the time. I had an air fryer before that was very similar to this. It was a giant, just like, looks like a big old egg. And it was just simply an air fryer before they really came out with the ones that have all the different functions. So they all work great. There are tons of different brands out there. You just have to, do a little research yourself. But if you don't have an air fryer and you're in the market, definitely look for those multi-function ones. So what I'm just doing right now, very simple, is just kind of cutting off our cauliflower a bit. Of course, these, like I said, this is going to be tacos. So you wouldn't want this big giant chunk of cauliflower in your tacos. You want it to be fairly small, just kind of bite-sized pieces so that it'll heat up pretty quick in the air fryer. It won't take long. And it'll cook, you know, when you put it in your taco, it's not going to be this big giant piece of cauliflower. So very simple. We're just going to finish chopping this up. And then whenever we come back, I'll show you some seasonings that we're going to put on it, and we're going to throw it into the air fryer and get it started.
Looking for training that leads to a high-demand, high-paying career? Bladen Community College can help you get there. Enroll in our welding program and gain the skills and expertise needed to excel in the industry and secure a successful future. Explore our HVAC program, where you will learn to install and service energy-efficient systems to keep homes and businesses comfortable year-round. Learn more at bladencc.edu or give us a call to get started today.
Hey guys, Sydney and Jesse here from At the Table.
Are you enjoying the show? We want to hear from you.
We have a quick survey where you can tell us things you've learned, recipes you've tried, and how the show has impacted you. You'll be entered into a grand prize drawing. Check out our link or scan the QR code for more info.
Thank you for tuning in and cooking with us at the table.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we have our cauliflower all chopped up in those nice small pieces. We still have a good amount in here. Our recipe calls for about 4 cups. We probably have a little bit more than 4 cups. I did like 1.5 heads of cauliflower, so we'll just do it in batches today, but we might go a little heavier on our seasoning. So what we're gonna be adding to this is a little bit of olive oil. Anytime you are using your air fryer, you want to add a little bit of oil to your food so that it will help it to crisp up, unless you're doing like something that's fatty. So for instance, if you're doing salmon, I do salmon a good bit in my air fryer, or if you are doing like a steak, you know, chicken legs, chicken thighs, things like that. Those are all going to be very more fatty meats that you don't really need to spray it a whole lot with cooking spray or use olive oil. For something like this with our vegetables, we definitely are going to want about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I'm just going to kind of drizzle that over it, then I'll toss it all together. Our seasonings today is a little bit of smoked paprika. So we need about 1/2 teaspoon. Again, I'm just eyeballing because smoked paprika is delicious. And then this recipe calls for tahini. Tahini is just a little bit spicy, not overly spicy. I don't exactly know what all is in tahini to make it. It's chili peppers, sea salt, citric acid, and then there's dehydrated lime juice, some other stuff. But mainly chili peppers. So similar to, a little similar to like chili powder that you might use. You could make your own, just use chili powder at home instead of using this if you don't have it. But tahini has become a really hot thing, especially kids for some reason, which kids hate spicy stuff, but there are all different kinds of things that have like tahini in the chips and stuff like that. I don't know, it's beyond me. But it is a good little spice to add. And then we're just gonna do a little bit more salt. The tahini had salt in it, but we'll just add just a little bit more, and then we're just gonna stir it up until everything is nice and coated. You want to, of course, spread those spices around nice and evenly. Personally, I just love basic vegetables with a little olive oil, salt, and pepper. But of course, that can get a little boring over time. So if you want something a little bit different, throw some of those good spices on top and it'll be delicious. I do, like I said earlier, a lot of frozen vegetables. So a lot of times the way I do frozen vegetables, for instance, this recipe, it calls for you to cook it for about 12 to 15 minutes. I would add about 2 extra minutes onto that cook time. So because we have so much cauliflower, it'll be more like the 15 minutes. You're gonna adjust your time depending on how full your air fryer is. So Here we are gonna do probably closer to 14 or 15 minutes, or you could do it in smaller batches. That looks pretty good and coated. I'll set that to the side, and we'll go ahead and play with our air fryer. So first things first, with an air fryer, all of them are different. I will show you a different version when we move to our next recipe. But typically you have what's called an outer basket and an inner basket. For this one, the outer and inner is kind of the same. The only difference is it has this insert, which helps to keep it from being on the very bottom of your air fryer. So a lot of times if you've got it right on the bottom, this is kind of where the heating element can be. Although typically the heating elements are towards the top, but the bottom can get very, very hot as well. So you want the food to be lifted a little bit, and that way it can help provide proper circulation. The other thing I see sometimes, people will coat this in aluminum foil, or they'll put foil on top of their pan, parchment paper, things like that. This has slits in it, and the whole point of that is to provide that airflow. So airflow is super important here. You see there's slits kind of on the side as well as on our little insert as also. So there are some inserts I think you can buy on Amazon or other places that you just want to make sure if they look kind of like parchment paper, but that they have the slits in them to allow for that airflow. So what we're going to do, spray it a little bit, just a little olive oil, just like you would an oven pan. Pretty much anything you put in the oven can put in an air fryer. If you do something like a quiche or a cake, those are air fryer friendly. However, you would need a bowl or an air fryer, a baking dish that is oven safe. But that's about it. We're gonna throw this in. A lot of times, some air fryers will have a preheat function. So we'll turn it on. For this recipe, we're gonna go up to 400. And I mentioned 12 to 15 minutes. You can preheat your air fryer ahead of time. Since it's 15 minutes, you could wait to put the stuff in it, set it to more like 16 minutes, 17 minutes, give it about 2 minutes to really heat up, and then add your food. You can move this at any point, take it, pull it out, check on it, put it back in, it'll start right back where it was at. And the other thing we're gonna do is halfway, we're gonna shake it. So that will just help to make sure that all the pieces are nice and thoroughly coated, get nice and crispy. You don't have crispy on the top and it be kind of soggy on the bottom. So the other function that we have a lot is typically there are preset buttons. I don't like to use the preset buttons simply because it doesn't know how much is in your air fryer. So you'll have like a fish setting, a French fry setting. It's gonna have a preset temperature and time that will go along with that. Of course, some people still use that function, but a lot of times it's gonna be dependent on what you're putting inside, how large the pieces are. For instance, tater tots, you can buy the regular or you can buy the mini. The mini are gonna cook a lot faster and get crispier. So just a few tips there on your presets and adjusting for temperature and time. So we'll let that finish. We'll come back and we'll start working on our Peruvian green sauce, and then we will do our last recipe in a little bit. We'll see you back.
Hey guys, this is Frankie with Owens Home Furnishings. Did you realize we sell custom sofas? We have almost 1,000 fabrics and hundreds of different styles.
Did you know that Owens Home Furnishings has a sleep retreat mattress gallery?
Did you know here at Owens Home Furnishings, we sell and install Mohawk flooring and do free estimates?
Did you know that Owens Home Furnishings has free in-town delivery?
Small, local, and family owned. Why would you shop anywhere else? Come see us at Owens Home Furnishings.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we have our cauliflower in the air fryer. We're gonna let that finish up. Next thing we're gonna make is, it's called a Peruvian green sauce. And this is not an air fryer recipe, but it's just very, very good. So thought I would share it with you guys. It did come from skinnytaste.com, as did the taco recipe. And this one is one that when I have done it in class, I have went ahead and made it ahead of time, but people are able to put it on their tacos and everyone's like, oh, this is the best thing I have ever tried. So it just really elevates any dish. I think it would be delicious as a dressing. It does have some jalapenos. Depending on your jalapenos, it can be a little bit more spicy. This batch that I made, these jalapenos are a little spicier than the first time that I made this recipe. So, just keep that in mind. It's not overly spicy. I am a wimp, and it's not overwhelming to me. I think it would also be good if you could mix it in sour cream or Greek yogurt and do more of a creamy sauce that way as well. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. First thing you have to do is saute a little bit of onions. It's only 1/4 cup of red onion, so it doesn't take long at all. And saute those up with a little bit of oil. And then we basically just add everything to our blender. So what we're gonna add first are kind of the meat of our ingredients. I did chop up a little bit of our jalapeno to start with. We'll add those later. It's a rogue seed. I do like to take the seeds out of my jalapenos. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a wimp, so I don't want it to be overly spicy. If you're not wimpy like me, then you might enjoy them to keep the seeds in to make it a little bit hotter. So add in our onions, and then we have the rest of our ingredients, which includes mayonnaise. I just grabbed whatever mayonnaise was in the refrigerator here, and you need about 1/2 cup of light mayonnaise, preferably. I have not tried it with Greek yogurt. I think that would be a good little experiment to see how that tastes, but I am just eyeballing here. There's not much left in this, so we're just going to use what's in it. We also need about 2 tablespoons-ish of oil. So again, I am just eyeballing, y'all. And a little bit of mustard. This is only about 1.5 tablespoons. And then a little bit of, vinegar and salt and pepper. So I have 2 tablespoons of just white vinegar and a little bit of salt and pepper. This is about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. All right, and we're gonna blend that up. Won't take long. Pretty good. So just a little bit of, you're going to blend it even further whenever you get your jalapenos and your cilantro in there as well. I like to use gloves anytime I'm handling jalapenos. They can leave that oil and the residue on your hands. It can be very spicy. You touch your eye, anything else, it could definitely burn it. So not good. We'll go ahead and do our cilantro first. And especially since this is blended, I'm just going to do a rough chop. That is our air fryer, and it is telling us that it's time to shake it. So I'm gonna go shake this really quick. Guys, if they wanna follow me on the camera, you can see this. Some air fryers will notify you to shake halfway. Some don't, they just keep running. So this one does, it beeps at you aggressively until you come over here and do this. So I knew y'all didn't wanna hear that for the next however many minutes. So you can just shake it physically. Some of them, if they're different kinds, you might just have to open the drawer and stir it up with a spoon, whatever method works best for you. But it depends on your air fryer whether it will have that feature or not. So our cilantro, I saved a few pieces. Since we're just gonna throw this into a blender, I'm not gonna be super crazy about the stems. I'm just gonna try to kind of get the bulk of the leaves here. And then these more hardier stems, we'll just throw that part away. But the smaller stems, I have friends that don't bother picking the leaves off. They just literally chop it just like I showed you. So whatever method works best for you. And we will throw that in. And you need about 2 cups of cilantro. And then we need 3 jalapenos. So there's 2. I was gonna do one on camera with you guys. So I like to just cut the top off, and then I just slowly kind of rotate it around. And then you can do this with a spoon. I just use my hands because I've got gloves on. It's not a big deal. If you don't have gloves, probably use a spoon instead of your fingers here. Just until we get all of those seeds out. It's fine if there's a little extra membrane because we're blending this all up anyway. So I just like to cut it into a little bit smaller pieces so it's not quite so big. It depends on your blender as to how much you might need to chop that. And then the last thing will be our garlic. So we need 3 cloves of garlic as well, probably like medium-sized cloves. I still like to cut off the little hard end, and we'll throw those in. So I'll finish this and go ahead and get our our blender started and get our Peruvian sauce finished, and we will see you guys back in just 1 second.
If you're a small business owner or prospective entrepreneur, the Bladen Community College Small Business Center is here to help you. They offer free seminars to help you start or grow your existing business, and one-on-one counseling and assistance is available if needed. They can also provide you with community and statewide resources. Best of all of these services are free. Let the Bladen Community College Small Business Center help you turn your dreams into reality. Contact the Bladen Community College Small Business Center today.
Hey guys, welcome back. So we are working on our next recipe, which are air-fried cream cheese crescent rolls with blueberries. These are really good. I have made 2 different versions of this. I have made a crescent roll with applesauce inside. It was like chunky applesauce, and it was more like an apple Danish. Same concept as this recipe. We just do applesauce, a little cinnamon. I think that one does use cinnamon sugar. And you roll them up, you can make a little glaze for the top if you would like, with confectioner's sugar, and it's delicious. It's a really good, easy dessert that you can make in your air fryer. So all that we have is a tube of crescent rolls. I have some cream cheese. You just need like half a block of cream cheese, so about 4 ounces. And you want it to be nice and softened. So leave your cream cheese out for a little bit just to soften up. And then you just spread it on your crescent rolls, as you see that I am doing. Easy peasy. And then we will just roll these up. I think these would be really good too if you added a little cinnamon inside. You could do a different dessert as well. So I think, I had a coworker bring me a bunch of peaches from her yard, and I thought about trying this recipe with peaches because I think that would be really good. So lots of variety here on what you can use fruit-wise. Whether to do cream cheese or not, I think is also up to you. So we're gonna add a little bit of blueberries. You just are gonna add about 10 to 12 blueberries. I basically add them until it looks pretty good. So just like that, easy peasy. And then I'm gonna roll this way. Can really roll either direction. And then I also like to just close up the sides here. Keep our blueberries in there. And then all we do is lay this on top of our pan. Now I did spray my pan down with a little bit of cooking spray. This is a different air fryer. As you see, this is one of those multi-function air fryers that I mentioned. So this one is a convection oven and an air fryer in one. We had a really old, or like a toaster oven, I'm sorry. Toaster oven and an air fryer. We had a very, very, very old toaster oven here, and I had a coworker who had a little extra funds, and because I do this air fryer class, I often have to bring my own air fryer and then have to still borrow an air fryer from a coworker. So we decided to upgrade our toaster oven that we had, and she bought this fancy one so that I can also use it for my air fryer workshop, which was so nice of her. So this one is very different than you guys saw with the last one. It's got racks. It has a door that just opens up like this. And it has these racks that go inside. I have another one that's taller that has multiple racks on it. Personally, I don't love the rack versions. I like the ones that have more of a basket. To me, it just seems like it heats better. Overall, it just works better. So, you know, there's a lot, like I said, a lot of different options out there for different air fryers. And the multifunction ones are great because obviously less things on your counter. So whenever I do our workshop, I try to talk about those different types and showcase different styles so people can practice with whichever one they have at home or practice with whichever one they're considering purchasing. So just because you don't have an air fryer doesn't mean you can't attend our class. This is a great time to take the class because you can really see which kind you like, have a little bit more experience playing with it than of course you would shopping in the store. So for this one, it does have a rack at the bottom. You always typically have some type of rack or something in place to prevent any food that falls through that may get burned as it's cooking. There is typically an element either at the top, typically towards the top, or maybe in the back. And if you ever see like black smoke that is coming from your air fryer, it is likely from a piece of food that has flown up and has kind of gotten onto that heating element. So you just want to cut it off. You could unplug it, kind of inspect it, and remove any food that may be on there. The other thing you may have happen with an air fryer is if you have something that's very, very greasy, sometimes that can create some like gray smoke. And we don't really want a lot of gray smoke anyways. So a good thing you can do is put a little bit of water in the bottom of your air fryer, either in the basket or like this one has a tray, you could put a little bit of water in the tray. This doesn't sit on it in the air fryer, it sits kind of like this. And that will help to prevent it from smoking. So that is all that we actually have for you guys today. I'm gonna finish rolling these up and get these in the air fryer, and we will show you what everything looks like at the end. I hope this helped give you some ideas of recipes you can do in the air fryer. Like I said, I use mine all the time. You can do tons of different stuff. You can even put food that's frozen into the air fryer. So experiment, call me if you have any questions, and make sure you're following us on Facebook or on our email list to learn about other programs we have going on. Thanks guys, see you next time on At the Table.